Welcome back, generals, to another Let's Fix Generals 0 Hour to make the best game ever. Yeah, so... kinda... So we have this heat haze smudge. So... so tester said that it's still causing a black screen. Yeah. So this function here detects smudge support. Let me copy that function. Smudge. Test hardware support. Detect smudge support. Detect. Okay, just replace this. Okay. Check device format doesn't exist. Oops. Check device format. It does, but an iDirect 3D at 8. Get this one. Oh, I got it almost right. Direct 3D. What does this return? iDirect 3D8. This, yeah. Get device caps. Get device caps. Caps. So this is pdef device. What do other places call this? Okay. What do we call this then? Call it that. Let's just call this D3, D8 device. Okay. Smudge format. That's a good question. What's the texture format here? DX8 wrapper. Display formats. There we go. Inaccessible. Ugh. Who's exposing it? Display formats. No one. Why not? Static. Ugh. Get back buffer formats 3D. return display formats. Smudge formats. Texture we want to render to. Drag the texture. Okay, how do we get render texture? How do we get the texture formats? I don't know. Is this something that is? Do we set it somewhere, or is set texture? No. Yeah, I don't know about the texture shit. Get render texture. Maybe that. So this back texture we can probably query gets can we get the D3D format from a texture? Yes, indirectly. Do not expose. Format lives on the surface level. Get surface level. Surface. Okay. So we have back texture, surface null. Disk. Return false surface. Okay. Surface release, get disk. Okay, and then we have disk dot format. There we go. Okay, that means we no longer need this shit here. Okay, do we have everything? Check device format. What is this? HAL. Hardware abstraction layer. Yes. Good. Then let's Let's test that. So we comment out this here. Okay. Put a breakpoint here. Mm-hmm. Good. It's still quite a bit, but yeah, let's see what it does. Oh, what happened now? Oh shit! I changed branch. Why did I do that? Holy shit! Why did I do that? Oof. Ugh. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Let's stash this. And we go back to smudge effects. I don't know why the branch was swapped. Oh boy. Stash pop. Conflicts. Yes. Oh boy. Oh boy. Mm-hmm. Let me do. Mm-hmm. Is that it? Yeah. Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's try this again. I tested all but the following wrapper commands. Okay. It's an original bug, just reverted the fix and rebased main again. Okay. You can make a separate pull for the fix or track as issue report. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it has successfully compiled. Good. Then let's put the breakpoint we have. Okay. Then let's see what happens here with this shit. Okay, well that called very early. And what did the original do? We have not done the test yet. Can't do the test unless we are rendering the texture. Okay, but that doesn't account here. So, let's see. Okay, device caps. Okay, that passed. Back texture. Okay, that passed. Back texture. Surface level. That passed. Desk. Format. Yeah, okay. Check. HR. Yes, okay. Okay. According to that, everything passed. Whether this is all correct, I don't know, but yeah. So what we can maybe also try is to test this hardware support in the constructor now. Or in init, let's say. Init, test hardware support. Let's try that. Okay, blah. Unknown, okay. Texture, yeah, okay. Surface, yep. Disk, HR, okay. That also passes, okay, that's cool. Then we can do support. And we can here simplify this to say it's no as much support, no return. Okay, and then return cache result I've already checked. I think we can now support. Okay. Unique block color. What about this shit? Okay. I think what we can now also do is comment out all this bullshit up here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then let's test it if we can see the effects. I can also delete this here. This. I can remove this. Okay, let's remove all this here. And all this bullshit here. Okay. Good. Skirmish. Okay, that works. Good. Then we take this guy and we make another. So test hardware support. Test hardware support. Blah blah. Okay. Return. Okay, then we document this as simplify a function that to what chat has suggested trying. Okay, let's push that. Okay, then I've pushed a new commit which replaces the hardware test function and removes all the custom back buffer and removes the custom back buffer, custom surface, custom rect lock, custom the lock rect function code. Good. What else can we try? I mean, at this point, I'm just like digging and trying to find something. Yeah. I mean, we can change the whole implementation, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing though. Clamp, X, Y, text clamp. What is this? Tactical view, get width, height. Text clamp. Finish center vertex. G UV coordinates by interpolating corner. Huh? What? Oh, what is this doing? I don't know. Increment visible smudge count. Use copy rects. What happens if we use this? Why is this here? Use copy rects. Let me see. Copy rects. This was the old method that didn't render to texture. Just copied back buffer into texture. Slower than NVIDIA. Let's see what this does. It compiles. Oh, that's surprising. Let's see if it changes anything. Oof. Well, it looks black. I mean, we see something, but it looks pretty bad. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Let's see if it also renders something if we remove this hack down here. This here. Okay. Okay, it shows something, but it's all black. Okay. Copy recs. Set texture. Background texture. Need these states in case texture is non-power of 2. Let's copy. Let's copy the same here. same bullshit. Copy rects. Okay, what's it doing? I mean, it's interesting that we see something, right? So it creates a texture class. Yeah, mip levels 1. It takes 8 back buffer surface. Oh, there's an easier way to get the surface. Back buffer. Okay, so this one here is interesting because it means that we can maybe simplify our implementation here. We say render texture. Back buffer. No, I think it's fine. Back buffer format. It is interesting that we see something, but it looks wrong. Levels 1, what is this? No map mapping at all. It is interesting that we see something though. And let me study this a bit more. So we have a background texture, which we create here. It has the display view dimensions. It takes the back buffer surface format, no mip maps, default pool. And there's some boolean. Render target. Render target. Okay, so here we get the description, background, surface desk, and we get the width and the height. Background. Background texture. I don't know what to say about this. I guess the difference is here. Here we have a get render texture, and here we use back texture. Background texture. Copy the area of back buffer occupied by smudges into an alternate buffer. And then afterwards it deletes it again. Huh? What? Copy the area of back buffer occupied by smudges into an alternate buffer. Back buffer, background. Copy. Copy. What does this copy function do? Copy. Other. This was the old method that didn't render the texture. Just copied back buffer into texture. Copy the area of back buffer into an alternate buffer. So does it mean it copies background into back buffer or back buffer into background? I don't understand the direction here. Copy. I don't know. It's really not obvious. It says other. Copies a region from one surface to another. It doesn't tell to which one. Does it copy to this one, to this, or to the one that we pass? It's not clarified here. For the author it's probably obvious, but like for me reading this, it's really not obvious. Copies the contents to one surface to another. Man, the way to document is copies the contents of the own surface to the past surface. That's how you would have documented it. Or copies the copies the past surface into the owned surface, something like this. Yeah, one way or the other. Well, it takes const, so it probably means from other into this one, right? That's my guess. So it copies back buffer into background and then it releases background. That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. Why is it doing this? Background. Ah, background is, aha. Aha. See. So this background belongs to the to the background texture. This one. Copy rects. But it's just black. I don't know what to say here. Yeah. It's now the third time I'm looking into this smudge shit and we just don't know how to fix this. It's a mystery. It's a mystery what is wrong here. I think it requires a rendering engineer to look into this. I just don't know what the problem is. I don't know how to debug this. I can't even test it. Well, I can test that the effect is gone. That I can see. But I can't see the black screen. Yeah. Okay, what is interesting though is that we see the black squares, right? That's a bit interesting. Back texture. Back texture. Not this rendering the texture. Support render targets. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, it's broken. Let's reset this. What could we be doing? Just want to fix that goddamn bug. Man, this bug is end boss. What about we do a flush afterwards? Would that do anything good? Let's do a flush here. Let's see what happens then. Let's do it at the end here. Flush. Doesn't change a thing. What happens if we move the flush before this? Six months ago, touched this already. Time flies so fast, doesn't it? It has already been a quarter year since source code release. Almost quarter. No, more. It was end of February, right? Yeah. End of February, so it's soon 10 months. 10 months. Okay, that also fixes nothing. So flush does nothing. Why does this do? Why does this fix it? Weird. It's weird that this fixes it. Let me ask. So the smudge Smudge class looks like so now. On NVIDIA cards with SMAA enabled, it causes the viewport to render black when smudges are rendered. Why? Where is the error? Tell me pronto. Where is the error? Good. I will just copy paste the whole bullshit here. Give me the answer. Short answer, you are sampling from the same render target that is currently bound as the active render target. And on NVIDIA, especially with SMAA post-processing active, that produces undefined behavior, black output. DX8 never guaranteed this would work, and NVIDIA is stricter than AMD here. Below is a precise breakdown on where the error is. You're doing this while still rendering into the same texture or texture derived from it. That is render target feedback. Reading from a render target while simultaneously writing to it. Why this fails? SMAA introduces extra render targets, resolves state changes between passes. NVIDIA drivers invalidate the texture fetch. AMD historically allowed this incorrectly. NVIDIA drivers invalidate the texture fetch when feedback is detected. This is 100% undefined behavior. Exact location in render. You then immediately bind that texture. Yeah. But you never unbind it as a render target. Oh, is that a problem? Back texture, but you never unbind it as a render target. On NVIDIA Black. Why use copyrects never had this issue? Oh, how does he know? Okay, it's interesting that he knows. The old path uses a separate texture. No feedback loop, legal on all hardware. The new path removed the copy and broke correctness. Why this only happens when smudge is rendered? Because smudge is the only path that samples the scene texture. Other passes render geometry, not full screen feedback. The dummy draw primitive does not fix this. Flushes the command buffer, does not break render target feedback. NVIDIA still sees illegal read-write. Correct fix. Re-enable, use copy regs. This is the only 100% DX8 legal solution. Fix 2. Ping pong render targets. Already uses multiple RTs. Smudge samples scene RT and writes to smudge RT. Alpha stage mismatch. Okay, so it's an interesting find here. He correctly deduced that this wouldn't cause the issue, and he's right. And I didn't tell him that. The AI noticed this on its own. I didn't say that. So it looks like it understands it. Yeah. Good. Restore copy to texture path. Okay, so Use copy rects. Copy RT temp texture. So he says, why I never had this issue? The old path uses a separate texture, no feedback loop. Set the texture, the old path. Yeah. Set texture. Okay, but in the new one, we also set the texture here. Here. Okay. Well, let me ask, can we perhaps just unset the texture? Can we perhaps just so reading and writing to the texture is a problem, yeah? Is rendering to texture. Back texture. Can we perhaps just unset the texture, or so get render texture? What is this? Render texture returns texture containing the image that was last rendered using any of the effects requiring render target textures. Used mostly for cross-fading effects that need an unmodified version of the view before the effect was applied. This texture does not survive device reset. Render the texture. Can we perhaps just unset the texture, or unset the texture at the end? The end of the function, of the render function. No, unsetting the texture at the end of render will not fix this, and it cannot fix it. Back texture is still bound as the active render target. The GPU is asked to read from it, write to it. Once the draw call is submitted, the damage is done. Does not retroactively make the draw legal. So, but does this mean we can't write to this render texture at all? Then what is it for? What is this? Get render texture. Is this used by anything else? No, it's not. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, that's a good lead. Yeah. Okay. Let me clarify. The old use copy recs codes will draw the textures in black color. Draw the textures in black color. Does not look right. How do we fix the new code? How do we fix the new code? The new code, not using use copyrights. That's a good question. No clean option. Hard truth first. Wow, give me the hard truth. If your render smudges by sampling the current scene image, you must not sample the texture that is currently bound as a render target. This is not a driver bug, not SMAA specific, but not fixable with state changes alone. So the question becomes, how do we fix the new code without using... The answer is you must ensure the texture you sample is not the active render target. Not the active render target. Before fixing the new code, let's address this because it explains the trap. While the old path is black, the problem is not copy rect itself. The problem is alpha plus texture stage state. You have the color alpha is 0, but then alpha comes from texture alpha. Copy rect produces an undefined alpha channel. Alpha 0. AMD this often worked because alpha defaulted to 1. On NVIDIA it defaults to 0. That's why use copy rect looks black now. Fix for use copy rect's white matters. Even if you don't use it, this explains what must be fixed in the new path too. Correct alpha setup. No state can fix that. Ping pong render targets. You already have SMAA. That means you already have multiple render targets. You already switched them. So do this. Acquire a second render texture. Smudge RT. During smudge rendering. Switch RT. Set render target. Sample scene. Draw smudges. Restore RT. No feedback. No copy rects. Works on NVIDIA. Okay. Okay, let's look into this here first. Set texture state. Okay. What do we have currently? Just that. Okay. Then we reset that. Okay, let's reset this. Then let's enable copy rects again. Let's try to get it to render correctly. Would be here, right? Okay. Then let's put this here. Texture stage. That's what he did here. Yeah. Okay, let's do let's put it like this. Okay, it's still black. Let's try the other one. Mm-hmm. Still black. Okay, so that suggestion doesn't work. Yeah. Okay, well, that's not promising. I tested the correct alpha setup and even simpler recommended methods for use copy rect, and it did not work. Good, very strong signal. Not the texture alpha stage alone. Alpha 0. Your vertex colors are mostly fully transparent. This is the killer. Alpha 0. Then you build vertex diffuse. Later you do the color. Opacity 255. Corner 0. Opacity. You're rendering 4 triangles. Each triangle includes 2 corner vertices. Alpha 0. Result, everything blends out to black. Video always shows black. Required fix. Give all vertices alpha. You must set alpha for all 5 vertices. Oh. What the hell is this here? What? How does this work? Ah, never mind. It's 5. Okay. So what does he want me to do? Replace this with base color. Base color. transparent. I think this is stupid, yeah. Text diffuse. Birds. I don't think that this changes anything here because you can try it, I guess. I don't think it makes sense, but I think what the only thing this does is make it the whole thing black without smooth, without faded edges. I think that's all it does. So don't think it's smart. But let's just try. Yeah, worst case it doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work 100%. Okay, but the chat still has another suggestion which we need to follow up on. Oh, so we already tried so many different things. Yeah, this is what I imagined. Just squares, black full squares. There, well, that doesn't help. No, the opacity was just fine. That's not the problem. It's just that it has no color. No proper color. It's all bullshit here that it writes. So, acquire a second texture, a second render texture. Create texture. Set render targets. No copy racks. Render texture. Render texture. It's a render target. Render target. Render texture. Maybe there's something wrong with the render target here. So it's already doing this render target thing. Device set render target. Sample scene. Restore render target. And render to texture. And render to texture. Set render target. Restore original render target. Render target texture will be in stage 0. And render to texture. Okay, so where does it start? Render to texture. Pre-render. Pre-render. Let's place some breakpoints and see how this is called. What is this new render surface? Let me clarify. Man, where did it write this shit? Here. The W3D shader manager get render texture already is a render target. What do we need to look out for here? How would it be correct or incorrect? How would its usage be correct or incorrect? It's already a render target. The smudge code is walking on a classic DX8 hazard. This is his favorite word, isn't it? I will break this down. Core DX8 rule, non-negotiable. What a bullshit. A render target texture must never be sampled while it is bound as a render target. DX8 does not guarantee defined behavior for render target equals texture sampler. You never ensure that this texture is not the active render target. render target. Resolve to back buffer before sampling. Okay, that's interesting. How can we change the render target then? Get render target. Require an off-screen render target, so try creating it here. Okay, how do we, in the shader manager, how do we switch render target? With the begin and start render. Ends render to texture and returns texture. Okay, what does it do? Set render target. Set shader. Set render target. I don't know about all this baggage here. And render. I mean, we can try and render and then start render. Okay. Yeah. So who's calling this now? And render. Post render. Post. Screen default filter. Render texture. Post render. Pre-render. Pre-render. Post render. Wow. Okay, let's put a breakpoint in here. Okay. Start render to texture. Where is it called from? Draw. View, draw. Get rear back buffer. Set back buffer as render target. So what does this smudge do? The smudge is doing, yeah. Hmm. Set texture, back texture. Hmm. Where, where's where's the reads on the texture in this function? Actual read happens here. But are we supposed to write to this? I don't understand. This line binds a texture for sampling. The actual read happens here. Draw triangles. At this point, the GPU pipeline does the following. Fetches vertex data, restores triangles, samples texture stage 0. Ah, because, I see, okay. Applies texture, okay. Aha. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so the render target becomes the texture to use to draw our triangles with, which then need to access the render target to read from it. I see, okay. And then at the same time write to the render targets? Yeah, I guess. Uh-huh. Hmm. Uh-huh. Okay, okay. Can we create a copy of this render target? Hmm. 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 Maybe back buffer. Copy the area of the back buffer. Alternate buffer. Hmm. I guess this is black. I suspect this is black because we are in this stage where the render target is not the back buffer, or I don't know. We have changed the render target and then the back buffer is black. I don't know. Hmm. 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 Yeah. What does this return? Get back buffer. Hmm. 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 me ask, can we create a copy of this background texture? Can we create a copy of the get render texture before we write to it? Copy to read from before we write to it. Yes. And target back texture, texture state 0, back texture, draw primitive. Render to texture feedback loop, which is undefined behavior. Right target render texture, read source, render texture copy. Render scene, render texture. Copy render texture copy. Can we copy a render target in DX8? Yes, but not by locking. Cannot be locked, cannot be read by CPU. You must copy on the GPU. Copy recs. Best, fastest, and safe. Okay, let me take this shit here. So it's rendering to texture. What if this guy returns? Is this always assigned to something? It will create one, yeah. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go here. Then we do this. Source our team. So where's our render texture? Back texture. So back texture. Did we already call get surface level? No. Back texture. Get level desk. Render texture copy. How do we get this copy here? Create texture. Oof. So DX8 wrapper gets the 3D device 8. Great texture, yeah. Width heights. Format, Surface Disk formats. Can you write the render function with the fix in place? I need some reference. Render smudges, blah blah blah. Render texture copy. Texture creation. Yeah, and what is this here? Render texture copy? What is this? It's incomplete. Render texture copy. What is? Yeah, tell me the type. My gosh. Hello. Type. Type. I need to type. I need the type of. He doesn't tell me the type. Ah, there we go. Thank you. And was it so hard? Yeah, then let's just put it in here, yeah? We created a texture on the fly, which probably will be very expensive. Create texture. Oh no, that's not how it works. I need to pass it, look at that. Okay, so we take this. I see. This one doesn't work. Surface disk. Ugh. Pool. Format pool. Format. It's a wrong format, isn't it? Let's do. Let's do D3D disk with height format. There we go. Texture. Create texture. Get surface level. Copy rects. Create texture. Okay, I don't care about performance right now, so I just want to test if it works or not. Yeah. Okay. Good. So okay. So get surface level, back texture, copy rects. Okay, and then texture copy, and then oh shit, and then we release it at the end of this function here, right? Okay, so we create now a copy of this surface, and then yeah, I mean it's similar to what it did before with copy. Now do the same thing, except that we have a render target. Then what's the purpose of this render target? I don't know. Maybe we need 2 render targets. Or let's say one copy of it. Start render to texture, okay. Oh, it works now. Look at that. It works without hacks. Wow. Okay, wow. Then that's a fix, isn't it? Then let me push this for a test. Render texture copy test. Or let's say render targets. Render targets. Texture copy tests. Same results. Please test the new commit. I made a copy of the render target. Render target texture. may have a breakthrough here. Chat explained that it is illegal. It's illegal to read and write, read from and write to a render target at the same time, which is exactly what Smudge is doing. I've now created a copy of the render texture, and I can see the microwave tank effects without the hack. Without the hack. Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah, I'm pretty hopeful that this is now the fix for the problem. Now the next question then would be, once we get a confirmation that this indeed fixes the problem, how do we how do we write this efficiently? Because I don't know, it seems a bit wild to first create allocate a texture and then copy. So that's probably very expensive. So we need to, I mean, the copy regs you can't avoid, right? But the texture creation we can maybe avoid. But then the next question is, what is the point of what is the point what is the point of the render target then? I don't know. Rendering to texture. Support routines for filter methods. Two triangles. Okay, that's something for later to figure out then. Good, I think I will end it here. It has been 2 hours, yeah. Okay, I hope that this fixes the problem now. I'm fairly optimistic and confident that this solves it. But yeah, we need to then look into how we properly implement this. Yeah. Good. Then I will end it here. And I wish you a great day or night until next time. Goodbye.